The following is a production of the Averett Sports Network.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to live coverage of Averett women's basketball right here on the Averett Sports Network. My name is Drew Wilson, Sports Information Director, and joined today by Davin Wilson, Assistant Sports Information Director, as we bring you live coverage of today's game between the Cougars and Ferrum College. And Davin, this is an exciting matchup. These two teams have already faced off once before this season, and it's going to be another good game here today. I think hopefully it'll be a little bit different outcome the last one, as we'll get more into that here during our pregame show, but obviously, big conference matchup early in the season, and obviously second time these two have faced. What are your thoughts on the game today?
Well, I know I was fortunate enough to be able to go up to the game at Ferrum over the break, and really one thing I noticed, Averett had a very difficult time coming out, stopping Ferrum from beyond the arc, and I think if they can come out and do that early on today, I think they will be able to establish some momentum. And really, I think the key is to force Ferrum inside the post and force them into just driving the ball in.
Another big thing to mention about that first meeting up at Ferrum, which was a 78-62 win on December 18th, was that Sam Chandler she played, but she was not 100%, a little under the weather that night, and so she didn't have her usual output, and I think that kind of hurt the Cougars, obviously, when one of your leading scorer and the conference's leading scorer doesn't play. So obviously Sam back today and hopefully healthy and feeling good. So hopefully we can see some good things out of her today, because they will definitely need her against a good team like Ferrum. Obviously Ferrum's been one of the conference powerhouses over the years. Made a couple NCAA tournaments, a couple championships, and although Ferrum, if you look at their overall record this year, Davin, they're a little bit down. They're 5-8 overall, but they are 3-1 in the conference. But they're coming off that first loss, which was yesterday at North Carolina Wesleyan, where they fell there by a score of 58-53. So a little blip on their, in terms of their conference record. But what are your thoughts today? The Cougars, we just saw them play Greensboro on Friday, a tough 77-74 loss here at the Grand Center. In the final seconds, Averett came back, tied the game 74, and then Greensboro came down and hit a three with under 10 seconds to play to eventually win that game. What are your thoughts on how the Cougars played that game and what they need to do to bring some of that into today's game?
Well, one thing that I've noticed all season with this team is they come out with high intensity on both ends of the court. They're very good about getting back in transition on defense, and they're very good about getting the ball down the court on the offensive end. And I think if they can keep up that intensity, and like you mentioned earlier, they've got Sam Chandler back at full capacity, and I think she will really make a difference in this one. But was just very impressed with the Cougars the other night. I mean, Jessica Myers just absolutely went off. 30 points, 8 rebounds. I believe it was 3 steals. So, I think she will be a key in this one along with Sam Chandler. And I've also been impressed with Nika Jones inside the post and kind of filling in for Johanna Koski, and I think she's just really been she's been a big factor.
Yeah, you talk about Jessica Myers, 30 points the other night, obviously a career high for her. Only the 10th time a Cougar in recorded history has scored 30 points in a single game, so big night for her, and she kind of did a lot of the little things. I'll tell you, somebody else that did a lot of the little things was Ariana Covington. I don't think she had the stats to really compared to, the points or rebounds, everything. But when she was out on the court, she did a lot of good things defensively and really helped out the Cougars, and maybe just didn't show up in the box score like you would notice unless you were actually watching the game. But they're going to need some help today, and we'll get into that. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back with more on our pregame show right here on the Averett Sports Network. Hello and welcome back to our pregame show here on the Averett Sports Network as we bring you live coverage of today's game between the Cougars and the Ferrum College Panthers. And I'm Drew Wilson, joined by Davin Wilson, and just talking a little bit about the Cougars and looking at how they've stacked up this season. We talked about Sam Chandler leading the conference in scoring at 17.8 points per game. She also did some good stuff on the boards against Greensboro on Friday. Had a career-high 15 rebounds in that one. So she's one of those players that's going to fill the stats in almost all the columns. But obviously she needs a supporting cast as well. And she's had some other people step up to be lead cast members. If you talk about Jessica Myers, we mentioned before the break, her career-high 30 points against Greensboro. Ariana Covington having a solid year as well. And somebody that's been coming off the bench but will get the start today is Joelle Deese. And she's will be starting in place of Alexis Rocia, who will be sitting out this game due to injury protocol. So, Davin, what are your thoughts about Joelle and how she's played this year? And she's been one of the key players off the bench for this Cougars team.
Well, Joelle has so much energy. You know, when she comes off the bench, she comes in, she's big on shooting three-pointers, and she just really seems to give the Cougars a shot in the arm whenever she's on the court. When she's on the bench, she's always, loud and just very supportive of her team. And, she's one of the unsung heroes for this Cougar team. And I think she will have a very big factor, and really playing time has picked up this year for her. She's averaging 23.4 minutes a game. So, she's definitely seen a jump in the playing time, and her hard work and energy is definitely paying off for her.
Absolutely. The team has been battling injuries throughout the season to a number of different players, and so the Cougars really haven't had a lot of height to go in the lineup. So she has been one of the players that's kind of stepped up and has done some of the dirty work down in the low post, grabbing rebounds. I think one of the most impressive things is her steals. She's averaging 2.2 steals per game, and earlier in the season, I think it was over 3 steals per game. So she is doing a lot of things on defense to help this Cougar team out. Because they are missing some of that height in the post. And they're going to definitely need that today against a good, solid Ferrum team that has a little bit of has some height, but they're good and usually tend to be good in the post. One of those players is Kamani Crawford, averaging 13.6 points and 8.5 rebounds per game this season. She's been solid for this Panthers team, especially in recent weeks. Named USA South Player of the Week, and I believe she got D3Hoops.com Team of the Week. So she's having another solid season. Of course, you can't forget Zarkia Maddox, who's also one of the top players, averaging 16 points, 9 rebounds per game. She's another one, came in the same year as Sam Chandler. Both of them were freshmen last year. Maddox ended up edging out Chandler for the conference's Rookie of the Year, but Chandler got the Rookie of the Year from the Virginia Sports Information Director. So they each got a Rookie of the Year honor, depending on who was looking at the stats. But honestly, Davin, I thought that was very fitting because you look at it and they were both kind of neck and neck in almost every category.
They were, and, they both are very impact players, very much impact players for both of their squads. And both of the teams are going to really rely on their play to have success. And, there's one thing with Averett this year, as you mentioned before, they do have some other players that have been able to step up and fill in those roles. It seemed like last year it was so much on the shoulders of Sam to do everything. And this year they've got Ariana, they've got Jess, they've got Onika. Frida Lundquist is another one off the bench that has come in and has provided the Cougars with offensive firepower. And you were mentioning earlier too, Drew, with the steals, and that was one thing that I think I was very surprised about with the other game against Greensboro is that we dominated the turnover battle and just came up a little unfortunate.
All right. Very true there, Davin. And looking at the series matchup as we're about 2 minutes away from the starting lineups and beginning of this game, Averett, since 2000-2001 season, only 5-29 against this Ferrum team, but the last time the Cougars beat them was last year right here on this very floor. So obviously very capable of winning against this Ferrum team. Last year, 69-59 in favor of the Cougars right here at the Grand Center. So hopefully they can repeat that and pick up a big conference win. It'd be nice for the Cougars to get that first conference win of the season and build a little bit of confidence, because obviously as you get into the middle of conference play, everybody needs a little confidence. And unfortunately for the Cougars, their first two conference opponents this year have been Ferrum and Greensboro, two of the traditional powerhouses in recent years of this conference.
And I think that will really help Averett moving forward. You know, you go ahead, you play the tough teams, you get that under your belt, and you get that experience that is so valuable playing against two tough opponents. And then I think in the middle of the season, you know, you get into some of your, I hate to say easier opponents, but some of your traditionally weaker opponents. And I think you'll have developed that confidence by then and know that you can pretty much play with anybody in the conference. So I think that's a definite plus for Averett, and hopefully we'll be able to pull out the victory here tonight.
If last home game for the Cougars, then they hit the road for a couple games and then return a little over a week. So under a minute here to play. We're going to turn it over to our PA announcer, Jay Stevens, for the national anthem and the starting lineups. You're listening to the Averett Sports Network.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Averett University in the Grant Center for today's women's basketball game. Our game today features the Panthers of Ferrum College taking on your Cougars of Averett University. And now, if everyone would, please rise to honor America with the playing of our national anthem. Ready when you are. All right, good deal. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to introduce the starting lineups for today's game. First, for the visiting Panthers of Ferrum College. At guard, a senior from Willis, Virginia, number 22, Krista Cox. At guard, a sophomore from Rocky Mount, Virginia, number 24, Zarkia Maddox. At forward, a sophomore from Mount Airy, North Carolina, number 32, Erin March. At guard, a senior from Hillsville, Virginia, number 33, Lindsay Martin. And at forward, a senior from Stanton, Virginia, number 34, Kamani Crawford. Assistant coaches for the Panthers are Adam Crawford and Karen Harvey, and the head coach for the Panthers is Brian Harvey. Ready? And now, here are today's starters for your Cougars of Averett University. At At guard, a sophomore from Burnsville, North Carolina, number 10, Sam Chandler. At guard, a sophomore from Cary, North Carolina, number 11, Joel Deese. At guard, a senior from Alta Vista, Virginia, number 12, Jessica Myers. At guard, a junior from Martinsville, Virginia, number 14, Ariana Covington. And at forward, a senior from Westburg, Virginia, number 52, Nika Jones. The head coach for Averett is Liz Hickey. She's assisted by Morgan Crawford and Abby Bailey. Fans, Averett University, USA South Conference, NCAA.
Gracias.
Its coaches and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Granted, the racial and sexist comments are
And welcome back to the Grand Center here for today's USA South Women's Basketball Conference matchup between the Ferrum College Panthers and the Averett University Cougars. We are just minutes from game time here as the two teams are taking the court, getting ready for tip-off here. And the second kind of a rematch against these two teams right here as each of these two teams have already met earlier this season. As we mentioned earlier, Ferrum coming away with the 78-62 win at Ferrum, and really just a game where Ferrum was able to dominate the three ball, and Ferrum off with the quick basket. Number 24 is Zakia Maddox, and Maddox is going to be one to watch out for. She, along with Kamani Crawford, are going to be key for Ferrum here tonight. Joel Deese comes up, and it's number 32, Aaron Mark, coming down with the board. Ferrum back down in transition. They're going to switch courts here. And there's number 32, Mark, coming up with the shot. And it's going to be Ferrum ball, knocked out by the Cougars. And number 33 here, Lindsey Martin. And Averett coming off a heartbreaking 77-74 loss against Greensboro College on Friday, but there was a lot of positives for the Cougars in that game as they forced a large number of turnovers. And speaking of turnovers, the Cougars come out with the shot clock violation, and Averett with the ball. Covington inbounds to Jessica Myers. Myers had a huge game on Friday, putting up 30 points, career high for her. And Chandler with the jumper, Myers down with the rebound, and Myers puts it back in, and it's now a 2-2 game here early on. The Panthers getting the ball back down in transition. Averett playing some tough defense, and it's like Myers is going to be called for a reach-in foul right there. And they've got the ball. Ferrum's got the ball back in. It's going to be number 32, Mark, with it. And number 22, Krista Cox. Cougars come down with the defensive board. Chandler on the drive. And she puts up a shot, but it is swatted away, and it's going to be a jump ball. And possession will stay with Averett. So Crawford Covington on the inbound. Over to Chandler. Chandler gets over to Myers. And it's going to be a steal for number 34, Kamani Crawford, the senior out of Stanton, Virginia. And she will put it in there for 2 points, and it's now 4-2 Ferrum early on in this contest at the Grant Center. And Ferrum traditionally a very tough team in the post, and both of those baskets have come from inside. And Jessica Myers comes in with a little shot right there, and it is now tied up 4-4 here early on. Ferrum trying to spread the ball out. Number 33, Lindsey Martin, post up. And Jones and Chandler run into each other. Jones looks like she's a little shaken up there on the play. And Jessica Myers gets back down in transition. Myers, the speedy guard out of Alta Vista, Virginia, played at Gretna High School, and She has now accounted for all 6 of Averett's points so far in this one. And Chandler coming down with the rebound on that shot. She gets it over to Deese. Deese, a very high-energy player. She's getting the start today in place of Alexis Rosia, who is out because of injury protocol. And Jessica Myers now with 8 points, and the Cougars are on a 4-0 run and have now taken an 8-4 lead in this one. And Cougars coming out trying to establish a little momentum here early, and Aaron Mark coming through with the basket. It is now 8-6. So Myers getting the ball down the court. She looks over to Chandler. Chandler to Covington. Covington back to Chandler. Chandler a little handoff to Deese. Deese thinks about it, but she gets it off to Jones. Jones to Chandler. And that's going to be a foul on the Panthers. It's going to be a blocking foul on number 32, Aaron Mark. And number 23, Frida Lundquist, in for Jones. And Covington will inbound the ball for the Cougars. And Myers looking for the drive. And it's going to be a foul, an elbow on number 24, Zakia Maddox. And Covington gets the ball in, gets it over to Myers. And that's going to go off of number 33, Lindsey Martin. So the Cougars will retain possession with an 8-6 lead here at the Grant Center. And 6:14 remaining in this game. Jessica Myers with all 8 points tonight for the Cougars, and really continuing that hot streak that she had the other night of 30 points. And we'll see if she can keep this up. And Deese from downtown. And Joelle Deese, and it is now 11-6. Averett. And the Cougars on a roll right now. Have started off hot, very high energy team, Averett. And looking to keep that up. They will need to keep that up against a very talented Ferrum team who comes into this game 5-8 overall, but 3-1 in the conference. And number 22, Krista Cox, coming down with the tray there. And Frida puts up a shot, no good. Number 34, Maddox, coming down with the rebound. Excuse me, Kamani Crawford coming down with the rebound. And we're going to have a sub here. Daquilla Washington coming in for Covington. And number 21, Brooke Lewis. And number 23, Jasmine Barr, coming in for the Panthers. And the Panthers will have possession of this after the Cougars kick the ball out of bounds. And there's the inbound, and it looks like possession will stay with the Panthers. And Jones coming in now for Sam Chandler. And right now, Averett shooting 62.5% from the field. They are 5 of 8. Of course, Ferrum heating up too, been very hot early. They are 4 for 8 with 50%. And the big key in this one has been that 3 from Joelle Deese. And another shot clock violation from Averett, as it looks like the Cougars have the Panthers a little out of sync here, and hoping to keep them off balance here. One stat to point out, the Cougars right now have come down with 3 defensive boards and have done a good job of making sure that the Panthers do not get second look opportunities. And Daquilla Washington comes down, and the Cougars now 13-9. And let's see if they can keep this up here. Ferrum been able to answer back with a few buckets of their own. And number 23, Jasmine Barr. A rough pass, but the Cougars did get a tip on it, so possession will remain with the Panthers. And that's number 22, Krista Cox. Getting it over to Brooke Lewis, and Lewis goes back to Cox. Cox unable to hold it, and it will be a Ferrum turnover. So Ferrum right now with 4 turnovers, and that's going to be key for Averett right there. And this Cougars defense has done a great job so far this season of forcing turnovers and making sure that teams are not getting good looks at the ball. So number 11, Kelly Mounts, and number 50, Jessie O'Connor coming in. And Kelly Mounts, an excellent three-point shooter. And we will see if she can help Ferrum establish a lead here. Frida Lundquist, no good. Number 50, Jessie O'Connor coming down with the defensive rebound. Rebounds are now knotted up. Defensive rebounds are now knotted up at 3 apiece. And that's going to be a foul on Jones. That's Jones's first personal and actually the first team foul from Averett so far. So Averett doing a good job of playing clean defense here and not allowing Ferrum to get to the line. And number 11, Mounts, goes up, and the Cougars with the block shot coming down in transition, Chandler. And that's going to be off the Panthers, and actually it's going to be a foul on number 23, Jasmine Barr. Jasmine Barr, her first foul of the game. And Chandler goes to the line. She hits her first shot. It is now 14-9 Averett. And, of course, with the rule changes this year, any foul shot is 2 shots, no more 1-and-1s. And Chandler hits both free throws, and the Cougars back out to a 6-point lead here. Check the stats, but I believe that is their largest of the game so far. And Ferrum trying to spread the ball around, trying to kill some of this Averett momentum right now. And a nice little knockout pass there by 21, Brooke Lewis, but Mounts unable to hold on to it. And the Cougars have forced another turnover. So far, Ferrum, a lot of turnovers, and we're not accustomed to seeing that from this Panthers team. And speaking of turnovers, number 23, Jasmine Barr, comes up with a beautiful layup right there. And looks like it's going to be a foul on Daquilla Washington right there. And number 23, Barr, will go to the line. And her first shot is in and out. And let's see if Barr can hit this one here and get her team back within 5. She does. And it is now a 15-10 Averett game. And Washington spreads it out to Chandler over here. Chandler gets over to Covington. Covington driving in. Frida Lundquist with the ball now. She kicks it out to Covington. And there's a steal by number 23, Jasmine Barr. So her second big steal there. And once again, she is able to draw the foul from Chandler. And that's Chandler's first foul. Averett's third team foul. So fouls are now even at 3. And Barr will get her first one. And we've got Myers and Deese back in the game for the Cougars. Washington and Jones giving a break. And Barr's back out on the line, and Joelle Deese comes down with the defensive board for the Cougars. And Myers spreading it out there. She gets it over to Deese. Deese over to Covington. Myers on the drive. She kicks it back out to Lundquist. Lundquist, an impressive three-point shooter here. So far for the Cougars off the bench this season, she's unable to come up there. Deese thinks about it for a second. Gets it over to Chandler. Chandler with the drive. And looks like it is going to be a foul on the Panthers. And Jessie O'Connor, and that is her first personal, team's fourth. And Chandler goes to the line. And first shot, no good. Number 24 is Zarkia Maddox back in the game for the Panthers. And Chandler back at the line for her second shot. And here's Chandler's attempt. And it's good. So Averett now out to a 16-11 lead, 2:17 left in this first period. Averett taking on Ferrum. Averett trying to avenge a loss earlier this season to the Panthers and are off to a good start here so far. Number 21, Brooke Lewis, tries to pull up the triple, but she is unable to find it. And the possession will stay with Ferrum. And number 11, Mounts with the ball now. And she gets it over to Zarkia Maddox. Maddox back to Mounts. And Mounts has the ball stripped by Deese. And it will be Ferrum ball. So Ferrum on the inbound, number 23, Jasmine Barr. And so while we have a little break in the action, Ferrum right now really led by Zarkia Maddox, who is averaging 16 points, 9 rebounds, 3.6 assists, and 3.4 steals per game. Also, Kamani Crawford, 13.6 points, 8.5 rebounds. So those two key players for the Panthers, and we will see if they, if Averett can control them and keep their presence limited here in this game, which is going to be key for the Cougars if they are going to pick up the victory. So Lundquist with a nice little spin move to the basket. She's unable. Number 23, Barr with the rebound. So Barr gets it over to Lewis, and Lewis gets it out to Mounts. Mounts setting up the play here. Mounts, the guard out of Germantown, North Carolina. And number 23, Barr, hits a humongous three right there. And it is now 16-3. Averett University. And Chandler with the drive. And Chandler will get into the lane and find the basket. It is now 18-13 with under a minute remaining here in the first period. And gets it out to Barr. And we're going to have some subs here. So Anika Jones and Daquilla Washington into the game. And number 30, Maggie Self, comes in for the Panthers. So number 21, Brooke Lewis on the rebound. Inbound. She gets it over to Mounts. And Lewis just about throws that one away, but Mounts coming down with it. And it's now Lewis out on the wing. And she finds Mounts. Mounts takes a long three and nails it as the shot clock expires. And it's going to get the Panthers within a possession at 18-16. Covington over to Anika Jones. Anika Jones, definitely a big post player right now for the Cougars. And she lays it in the paint. And it is now 20-16 Averett. And we're going to have a foul on number 13, Daquilla Washington. That is her second foul and the team's fourth. So it's number 30, Maggie Self, at the line now. And Deese coming in for Washington. And number 21, Lewis, coming in on the inbound. She gets it over to Mounts. Mounts looking around. And number 24 is Zarkia Maddox. Gets in the basket. And that's going to do it for the first quarter. At the end of the first quarter, it's Averett University 20, Ferrum College 18. And we're going to take a look at some stats here so far. So far for the Panthers, Zarkia Maddox has 4 points for the Panthers. Jasmine Barr also coming in with 4 as well. Kelly Mounts coming in with 3. She had the big 3 right there. So far those are 2 very impressive stats for the Cougars as they have been able to limit the Panthers' 2 top scorers here so far. Take a look here at some stats for Averett. Jessica Myers so far 4 for 4 from the field. Impressive start for her coming off that 30-point performance against Greensboro College. Jessica Myers has put up 8 points. She leads the Cougars with 8. Chandler has come in with 5 so far. Joelle Deese with 3. Nika Jones with 2. And Daquilla Washington with a pair as well for the Panthers. So far, leaders here. We've got Aaron Mark and Kamani Crawford have both pulled down a pair of rebounds, or have both pulled down rebounds, along with Brooke Lewis and number 23, Jasmine Barr. Nika Jones, 3 rebounds so far for her. Sam Chandler coming down with 2, and Deese and Myers both coming down with 1. And as we get ready to start the second quarter here, it's going to be Ferrum's ball, and they find themselves trailing 20-18. Ferrum's done a good job of battling back as they have found themselves trailing by as many as 6 so far in the first period. And Mounts kicks it out to number 34, Kamani Crawford. And Crawford's going to find pay dirt, and we've got a tie game here. And Myers getting the ball down the court. She finds Chandler over there. Covington to Deese. Deese on the drive. Deese puts it up off the glass. A little unlucky. So number 22, Krista Cox. And Ferrum trying to spread the ball out here. And it's going to be number 34, Kamani Crawford. She's going to get over to Mounts. Number 22, Krista Cox. So Maddox with the ball. Maddox drives, rims in and out. Panthers able to come down with the rebound on that, though. So Mounts driving. She kicks it back out to number 32, Aaron Mark. Mark unable to come up, and Chandler coming down with the rebound. And Sam kicks it out to Onika Jones. And Onika Jones comes up with the basket. It is now 22-20 Averett. So the Cougars working the ball well in the inside right now, getting the ball in, getting those high percentage shots. And that's going to be key for the Cougars tonight if they want to come up here and pick up the win. Averett shooting 56.3% from the field right now. Ferrum impressive as well, though, 44.4%. And Frida Lundquist comes into the game for Covington. And so Joelle Deese now. So number 24 is Arkia Maddox. And possession will remain so we're going to get a reset on the shot clock here. And the ball will remain with Ferrum, but they have 1 second to get off a shot here. See if they will be able to do it, and that's going to be a 5-second call on the Panthers, and it's going to give the ball back to the Cougars here. And Myers getting the ball down the court. Myers has a lot of speed. She's able to get back in transition on both ends of the field. or the court, excuse me, used to doing soccer. So Mounts gets it out to number 34, and that's going to in and out. So Crawford battling out. And the foul is going to go against Onika Jones. And that is her second personal. And Crawford at the line for 2. And Crawford in and out there. Covington comes into the game for Jones. And Crawford will go back to the line here and see what she can do. And she's good on the second attempt, and it is now 22-22. Myers with a nice little chest pass right there. And Joelle Deese comes up and hits a huge 3. And she looks like she's in a little bit of pain as she came down on her side. And it's now 25-21. And Myers looks like she got Deese, looks like she got the wind knocked out of her there. And Jessica Myers coming in with the steal. She's going to find Covington. And Averett all of a sudden on a 5-0 run. And the Cougars take a timeout. We will take it with them. It is 27-21. Averett here at the Grant Center. You're listening to Averett Sports Network. And we are back here at the Grant Center. And number 34, Kamani Crawford. Number 22, Krista Cox pulls up. And looks like the foul is going to be on number 21, Brooke Lewis. And Washington gives the ball to Myers. Number 23, Frida Lundquist in the game now for the Cougars. And Lundquist looking, she finds Myers. And Myers unable to find the hoop. And Myers drives back in. Then she gives off a little pass there to DeQuilla Washington. Chandler puts it up. She banks it in off the glass. And Averett now out to an 8-point advantage. A 7-0 run here for the Panthers. And been able to establish a little control here. And that's the foul is going to be on Covington. Covington, her first personal, second team. And inbounded. Number 21, Brooke Lewis. Gets it out to Cox. Cox gets it out to number 32, Aaron Mark. And that's going to make it 29-23. And in this 8-0 run that the Cougars have found themselves on. And Washington against the screen from the Panthers. And Myers kicks it out to Lundquist. Lundquist with a big three. And it's going to now extend Averett's lead to 9, their largest of the game at 32-23. And number 22, Cox, takes a long three there. And the Panthers are going to take a 30-second timeout. And right now, we'll look at some key stats here. Right now, Averett shooting 56.3% from the field. The Panthers shooting 42.1%. So both teams doing a good job of shooting and finding the basket here. Averett shooting 100% from the line at 3 of 4. Right now, the Panthers are winning the battle under the glass. They have 11 rebounds to Averett's 8. And Myers getting the ball down court here for the Cougars. She dishes it off to Washington. And Washington almost a steal right there by number 32, March, but unable to. And it's going to be a foul on number 24, Sarkia Maddox. And that's going to be her first second team foul. And number 30, Maggie Self, back into the game for the Panthers. So Washington gets it over to Jones. Lundquist does a great job, but Lundquist will be called for the traveling right there. And number 32, Aaron March, on the rebound. Get it out to Krista Cox. She gets it out to Lewis. And number 22, Cox, putting up a long three. And number 13, Daquilla Washington coming down, and Myers using her speed to get into the basket and also to draw a foul from number 22, Krista Cox. That is her first personal, and Myers goes to the line for 2 shots. So Averett with a 32-25 lead, 4:20 left in the first half. And so Mounts back into the game for the Panthers. Deese in the game, and also number 15, Haley Chandler, into the game. And Myers going to the line for her second shot. So Myers, another strong game coming off her performance against Greensboro, where she scored 30 points, brought home 8 rebounds. And a little side note here, she became the only the 10th player in program history to record a 30-point game. And the Cougars with the ball here and possession. And Myers is going to kick it out to Deese. Deese, a little floater, unable to go down, a little collision there from Ferrum. And it's going to be a travel call on the Panthers, and the ball will go back to the Cougars. And Sam Chandler coming up with a shot there. Lewis coming down with the rebound. Lewis kicks it out to Mounts. Mounts does a good job to stay in bounds right there. Lewis setting it up. She's going to kick it out to Mounts. Mounts taking her time. She gets it back over to Lewis. Lewis kicks it out to Crawford. Crawford takes it up for the jumper. No good. And possession will stay with the Panthers. So 34-25 Averett with 3:16 remaining in the first half here at the Grant Center. Averett playing their second game in 3 days. Ferrum the same way. Ferrum coming off the tough loss against NC Wesleyan, 58-53 yesterday. And Ferrum looking to rebound here, as well as the Cougars. So both of these teams looking to pick up a win. Averett looking to pick up their first conference win, and hoping to hand the Panthers their second conference loss. So number 32, Aaron March, comes in with the steal there. And Deese almost gets one from Mounts, but Mounts able to retain possession. And kick it out there, number 32. March fires a 3 from the corner, but she's unable to find the shot. Jessica Meyer over to Chandler. Chandler back over to Lundquist. Chandler's pass a little too hot to handle, and the ball will go to the Panthers here. So 2:31 here remaining in the first half at the Grand Center here in Danville, Virginia. And Averett out to a 34-27 lead. The Cougars have not trailed since the opening minutes of the game and have looked very sharp here and hoping to continue that in the second half. And the foul is going to be on Jessica Myers, and it's going to send Crawford to the line for 2 shots. So Myers, her first personal, 3rd team. And Crawford's first shot, no good. And that one's no good either, but number 32, Erin March, able to come down with the rebound and keep it. And Crawford back into the game for Deese. And Lundquist gets it over to Myers. Myers setting up the play. Lundquist gets it over to Chandler. Chandler back to Chandler. And Jessica Myers drives to the hoop there. And now gives Averett a 9-point lead. Cougars trying to open things up. But Ferrum has done a good job of answering back and making sure that they don't fall too far behind in this one. And it's going to be Chandler on the inbound. And officials discussing some things. And so it's going to be Covington at the line now for 2 shots. And first one, no good. Number 33, Lindsey Martin into the game. And it's going to be number 31, Maggie Wilborn going into the game. So Ferrum trying to get some fresh legs in there and hoping to cut in to their 9-point deficit. So Covington hits her second one, and the Cougars now are out to their largest advantage of the night at 10 points, 37-27, a minute and a half remaining in the second period. And Mounts gets it over to number 32, March, and gets it over to Myers. Myers thought about going inside there, changes her mind. She gets Lundquist. Lundquist over to Chandler, and Chandler's going to be called for a travel. And it is now 37-27 Averett, 1:09 left in the first half. Mounts setting up the play. She gets it over to number 32, Erin March. Number 33, Lindsey Martin puts up a jumper, unable to find the hoop. So Myers, she dishes out to Covington. Number 23, Lundquist. Lundquist gets it out to Chandler, and it's going to be a travel on the Cougars. And 41.2 seconds left here at the Grand Center. Fans, make sure you stay tuned for the halftime show. And number 11, Mounts coming down with the basket. And it is now 37-29 Cougars. 23 seconds remaining. And Lundquist out to Chandler. Chandler back to Chandler. Chandler kicks it out to Covington. Covington puts up the jumper. No good. Mounts coming down with the rebound. Mounts in transition. And Covington is going to pick up the foul on that one. Covington's second foul. Covington, the guard out of Martinsville, Virginia. Attended Bassett High School. Not too far up the road here from Danville. And Ferrum on the inbound, number 21, Brooke Lewis. 4.3 left here. And Ferrum's going to get their second 5-second violation here. And as we've seen all season, Averett has done a great job of forcing turnovers. And that has been one of the keys that have helped them build an 8-point lead here. And possibly even take a 10-point lead going into the break. Finds Myers. Myers' shot is off. And that will do it for the first half here. And Averett with a 37-29 lead over Ferrum College at the break. You're listening to Averett Sports Network. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the Grant Center, where Averett has built a 37-29 lead against Ferrum. And thanks for joining us on the halftime show. I'm joined here by Sports Information Director Drew Wilson. And Drew, we were talking about it just a second ago. One of the keys so far in this one seems to be Averett's ability to contain Kamani Crawford. 7 points all throughout this game.
Yeah, I think the other thing you look at, too, is Averett on the offensive end shooting nearly 54%, while limiting, on the defensive side, limiting Ferrum to only 37.5%. I think that's been the kind of the tail of the ball game so far. Cougars have done a good job shooting at a high percentage. In particular, Jess Myers driving, hitting the layups in the paint, and taking advantage, of what's been given to her, and really using her speed. And I think that's been kind of the difference. The Cougars have almost kind of shocked the Panthers, in this first half. I don't think Ferrum was expecting that. You look back at that first game that we talked about before in the pregame, and I'm sure you talked about it during the game. Ferrum got off to that great start in the first quarter in that first meeting, and a lot of threes, and really kind of took control of that game. They weren't able to do that so far today. Averett has come out and really looked good so far in the first half.
They have, and I've been very surprised about Ferrum's. They have not taken a lot of threes in this game. Have really been trying to get the ball inside, and that was a different Ferrum team than what we saw a couple of weeks ago up there at Ferrum. And, Drew, one thing I noticed too, Averett has continued, as they have all season, to force turnovers. They've had forced 2 5-second violations.
And the backcourt violation.
And the backcourt violation. And they have 12 total turnovers here so far, or they forced 12 total turnovers by the Panthers. And, that's going to be key moving forward.
Yeah, you look at it, and 12 turnovers by Ferrum. Only 2 steals from Averett. So those technically unforced turnovers by the Panthers. So they've kind of been shooting themselves in the foot a little bit. And, you look at they're really been struggling from the floor. Only 12 of 32 overall, 2 for 10 from three-point range. Obviously, that's hurting them. And then also only 3 of 8 from the foul line. So really a kind of a cold shooting night for Ferrum. And, hopefully for the Cougars' sake that continues and they can continue to build on their lead. Averett able to grow as much as a 10-point lead there late in the second quarter. And Ferrum cut it back down to 8 here at halftime. But, you got to love how Averett's playing. And I think they have really been showing me something coming back from a tough loss against Greensboro 2 days ago and coming into today and being down a starter, that they're in good shape.
Well, this is a resilient Averett team, and, one that's been very hard hit by injuries so far here this season, but they've really found the depth on the bench and have come back and have really have played solid basketball, since the beginning of December, and really just the offensive abilities that this team has. A lot of potential, a lot of great shooters, and really know how to work the ball in well. And you were talking about Jess earlier. Jess scored the first 8 points of the game for Averett, and she's well on her way to another great game with 12 here at the break.
Yeah, 12 points, 4 assists, I think, is another key stat for her. Her career high is only 6, so she's well into her career high in that. Yeah, I really have to say, Davin, that I think this might be. This is my 8th year, and so I've been here for the whole tenure of Liz Hickey. This might be her best coaching job that I've seen during her time here, because she is getting the most out of her team right now, despite the fact that they have been battling injuries and have lost players, and their roster is only 10 deep, and today only 9 deep because Alexis Rosia is out. And they're very vertically challenged, I think is a nice way to put it. So, I really feel like she has tailored this team's offense now to fit its strengths and succeed, and they're using those things to help them win ball games or stay close in ball games. And I think we've seen that in the first half today.
And you're right about the comment about her best coaching job. Of course, this is only my second season here at Averett, But while there was a lot of talent on the team last year and they had a lot of potential, you're right, Drew. Hickey has really been able to get the most out of her team and has really adapted them to what their strengths are. And from what I've seen so far, a lot of that strength is getting the ball inside, being physical in the paint, around the paint, and really just using that to establish control in ball games.
Well, I think it's their quickness, to me, is what's the difference. They like to get out in transition and beat people up the floor because they're faster. They have a smaller lineup, which means usually they can get down the floor quicker. And if they can, like today with their transition game or with Jessica Myers driving in for layups, if you can start scoring inside, it opens up the outside because people are going to collapse. And we've seen a couple of dishes out to wide open three-point shooters, and they've been able to knock those down. The Cougars 3 of 5 from beyond the arc today. So I really think that's kind of been the strength because they don't have that low post presence that's going to get in there, bang around, and score easy baskets with Yonakoski out. And, I think Onika Jones is capable. She's going to have her moments, but she's not going to be one that is going to score, 15 points a game every night. She's going to come in and get her averages. So they need to do these other things to help them, and they've done that. Jessica Myers, the way she stepped up these last couple of games, and you want to see that from a senior, and she's definitely come in and has done a great job, and hopefully she can continue in the second half here. And
I think she will. And I remember back when they had the blue and gold game here, the scrimmage. Jessica was actually one of the coaches, and Drew, quite frankly, I think she's got a future as a coach too. She wanted to be a coach because she is a great leader, and she provides a lot of fire for this team. And with the injuries and everything that they've suffered over the course of this season, I think you're right. She has done a great job of stepping up and really taking the reins and led this team so far.
Looking at some adjustments here in the second half, I really think the Cougars need to make. They are really getting beat on the offensive boards. Ferrum 10 offensive rebounds, and they've got more offensive rebounds than they have defensive rebounds. Cougars have to start doing a little bit better job on the glass, especially when Ferrum, is missing shots, and today they're missing a whole lot of shots so far. I think the other thing too is Averett looks at times hesitant to shoot the ball from outside. We've seen a lot of pump fakes, and some of them they've been busted for traveling because they'll take their pump fake and already start moving before the ball touches the ground for a dribble. I think they need to just settle down and try their shots, those open looks, and don't. It's good to see them drive, but at the same time, I'd like to see them knock some stuff down. What are some things that you think that they can improve on here going into the second half?
Well, I think it's funny that you mentioned rebounds because I think that's definitely a big key. We saw them start off pretty well. They looked like they were going to take the battle of the boards here early, but kind of slacked off a little bit here. As you see, they're down now 19-15. I think one of the big keys, too, is keep Kamani Crawford and Zarkia Maddox. Keep them contained. And, one of the players, too, Kelly Mounts was humongous for the Panthers a couple of weeks ago off the bench, really knocking down threes, and it seemed like anytime Averett would kind of start on a little bit of a run, get themselves back in the game, they would find Mounts, and Mounts would hit 2 or 3 big threes and would get a run started for Ferrum as well. So I think those are two of the keys, and I also think the turnover, Averett with 10 so far, and granted a lot of them are dead ball turnovers, but a turnover still is a turnover.
You mentioned Maddox and Crawford. They've been held to 13 points. They were averaging nearly 30 points together for a game, so kind of right at their half-game average, but it seems like the Cougars have done a good job. But getting ready to start the second half. I'm going to turn it back over to Davin.
All right. Thanks for joining me, Drew. And we have kicked off the second half here at the Grant Center. Your Averett University Cougars 37-29 over the Panthers. And it's going to be a turnover there, or actually a foul, by number 14, Ariana Covington. And that is her third personal. And so number 21, Lewis, getting the ball down the court here. And number 24 is Zarkia Maddox, unable to convert there. And it's going to be Anika Jones over to Chandler. Chandler driving in. And Jones to Chandler. As we were talking about in the break, Anika Jones, not necessarily a prolific scorer. She's not going to put up big numbers each game, but she does have the capability to really be a very impactful player for the Cougars. And number 24 is Arkeia Maddox. And it is now 39-31, 8:56 here remaining in the third period. And Deese gets it over to Jones. And Jones, so Averett really so far here, the first two baskets have been inside, and that is going to be a foul on Averett, foul on Jones. And Jones picks up her third foul of the game. And it's going to send number 24, Arkeia Maddox, to the line for 2 shots. So as we talked about at halftime, Averett 53.8% shooting from the field right now, 60% shooting from three-point range. So those are two very big numbers that if Averett can continue those throughout the second half, they should be able to pick up the victory here and get themselves in better position in the conference. And number 23 there, Jasmine Barr, really pressing Myers there, keeping her from trying to set up the play, but Myers able to beat it. Jones kicks it out to Deese. Deese over to Chandler. And Deese unable to find the basket. And Myers coming down with the ball there. Chandler putting it up off the glass. And now Chandler gets her own rebound. And she gets a foul on the play. So Averett really coming out here and determined and wanted to not only make up to that tough loss against Greensboro the other night, but also make up for that loss against Ferrum and really give themselves some confidence as they head into Mary Baldwin on Wednesday for their next conference game here. And Chandler going back to the line here for her second shot. And Chandler puts it up, and it is good. And we're going to have a sub here. Washington in for Covington. Covington coming back this year from an ACL injury last year, which ended her season in the first game. And I was there for that game and been in sports a long time, and that was one thing that I will not forget is seeing the pain in that face and just knowing, grabbing the knee like that and being in that much pain, that it was more than likely an ACL injury. And so Myers, back to the action here at the Grant Center. Myers kicks it out to Washington. Washington puts it up for a three. Looked good for a minute, but it will hit the front of the rim. A little scuffle for the ball here. And it will stay with the Cougars. Myers looked like she got a little banged up on that play. And it'll be Washington with the ball, getting it over to Myers. Myers in the paint right now. And that's going to be an Averett turnover, and ball will go back to Ferrum. And let's see here, it's number 22 with the ball, Krista Cox. She gets it out to Jasmine Barr. And Cougars doing a good job right now of getting hands in the faces of the Ferrum players and not giving them easy looks. And it's going to be a foul on number 13, Daquilla Washington. Her third of the afternoon. If you're just joining us here, it is 42-32 at the Grant Center. Now 42-33. Averett leads over the Ferrum Panthers. And number 34, Kamani Crawford, back at the line. And Crawford hits both of her attempts to make this an 8-point game. So one thing that Ferrum is very good at, Ferrum is good at clawing its way back into ball games and really being able to cut out runs before they get out of control and they find themselves too far behind. And they have done that several times here. And Onika Jones coming down with the basket there, but they have been able to do that several times throughout this game today. Did it several times at the game at Ferrum, and just really a very talented ball team. And it's going to be Covington coming in for Myers. So Covington's going to inbound to Washington. Daquilla Washington, the guard out of Newport News, Virginia, went to Woodside High School. And if you follow Virginia sports, you know Virginia Beach is a hotbed for future collegiate players, as many of the players who go on to professional careers and successful D1 careers have come out of the Virginia Beach area, out of that whole Virginia Beach, Newport News, Hampton area down there. And Chandler at the line for the second shot, and she makes it. And the Cougars now have established their biggest lead of the game at 46-34. And one thing this game has seen a lot of is turnovers, 26 combined, 14 of them coming from the Panthers, and 12 of them coming from the Cougars. And our PA guy, Jay, doing a great job of playing a little bit of defense over here as the ball heads towards the table. A little occupational hazard, especially volleyball and basketball. Of course, volleyball usually comes at you a little bit faster than a basketball does, but we still have had some fastballs come over here in basketball. So. And Averett will pick up possession on the foul. And Frida Lundquist. Lundquist coming down. Looked like she had the hook at first, but unable to come down with the basket. And Dietz is going to come back into the game. And for the Panthers, number 50, Jesse O'Connor, coming in for Aaron March. And we've got timeout on the court. We're going to take it with them. Averett leads Ferrum College 46-34, 5:15 left in the third quarter. You're watching Averett Sports Network. And we're back here at the Grand Center after a quick 30 timeout. And Ferrum with the ball here, spreading it out. And shot clock getting down here to 4 seconds. Number 23, Jasmine Barr, coming up with the big basket there. Crawford on the assist. And Myers now trying to set things up here. She's got a couple of her girls down in the paint, and Lundquist drives. Can't find it. Crawford comes down with the rebound. Number 22, Krista Cox, And Cox kicks it out to number 23. And Lundquist there to tip it away. Chandler coming down with the steal. Chandler on the fast break. And basket does not fall. And it remains a 46-36 game here with 4 minutes left in the third period. So number 22, Krista Cox. And one thing really surprised about here, Ferrum did such a good job from three-point range when we played up there back a couple of weeks ago, and just have really not been able to find the rhythm from outside. And we'll definitely need to try to get that going if Ferrum wants to have any chance at coming back in this one. And number 24 is Arkia Maddox coming down. She kicks it out to number 22, Krista Cox. Cox with a nice little move right there. And number 23, Jasmine Barr, showing some nice ball handling skills. And Crawford will travel. So D'Aquila Washington back into the game. Some mass subs here for Ferrum. Number 21, Brooke Lewis in the game. Number 33, Lindsey Martin back in the game. And number 11, Kelly Mounts back in the game for the Panthers. Washington gets it out to Myers. So Myers gets it out to Deese. Deese back to Washington. Myers on the drive. She finds Washington. Washington puts it up for the three. Unable to come down with it, and it looked like Onika Jones came down with the board right there for the Cougars. And Ferrum will knock the ball out of bounds, and it will stay with the Cougars. So Myers again. Myers driving in, going around the baseline. Nice move, kicks it back out to Deese. And Deese with a humongous three-pointer, and 49-36. And the Cougars have now established their biggest lead of the game with just over 2 minutes remaining in the period. A beautiful baseline move there by Myers to find Deese. And number 50, Jessie O'Connor, coming down with the layup right there to get the Panthers back within 11. Lundquist kicks it out to Washington. Washington to Deese. Deese, nice little move right there. And gets it back out to Myers. Lundquist comes in for the layup. Unable to find it. Lundquist grabs her own board. A little bit of a crowd down there for the rebound. And D'Aquila Washington. Washington gets it over to Myers. Myers and Onika Jones. And it is now 51-38. Averett just has come out here on a mission so far in this one and have really been able to establish the control on this ball game so far in this ball game, and are really looking to keep that up and have led by as many as 13 a couple of times so far. And D'Aquila Washington, and she goes for two. And the first one is up and good. So Chandler into the game now. And it looks like Haley Chandler will also be checking in after this shot for the Cougars. And number 13, Washington, back to the line here. And her shot off the rim, and little scuffle there for the rebound. And it actually goes to number 24, Zarkia Maddox. And number 50, O'Connor, gets it out to Mounts. Mounts, a nice move there. Gets it out to number 33, Martin. And number 50, Connor, coming down with a nice rebound right there. And Ferrum does a great job at rebounding, and they have some height and really have some good post players who can get in there and battle for those boards. And they have been successful in that aspect so far here in this game. And it's going to be a foul on number 12, Jessica Myers. And Myers picks up her second personal and team fifth. So number 33, Lindsey Martin, going to the line. And Martin gets it in. And Chandler into the game now for Washington. Chandler, the sophomore from Greensboro, North Carolina, back in the game now. And number 33, Lindsey Martin, hits both free throws. And it is now 52-40. Ferrum trying to stay in this game, and it's going to go out of bounds. It's going to be Averett ball. And Myers gets it out to Chandler, and number 24, Zarkia Maddox, really playing some good defense there on Chandler, and Chandler able to draw the foul. And that is her fourth right there of the game. And Chandler goes to the line for two. Averett with a 52-40 lead, 38.9 seconds remaining in this one, and her shot is good. So number 34, Crawford, back into the game for Maddox. And Chandler goes to the line for her second attempt. And it's going to be good. And the Cougars now out to a 14-point lead, 38 seconds left in the third period. Averett really has, and Chandler coming down with a steal off a bad pass from Crawford. Not used to seeing play like that from Crawford, as she is a very talented player and a very big factor for this Ferrum team. And Mounts back on the inbound for the Cougars. And Averett taking it back close to about a year ago, a little over a year ago. Actually picked up a 69-59 win against Ferrum here at the Grand Center. And there's the inbound from the Panthers. And the Cougars defense really doing a good job of disrupting this Panthers offense, which is a very potent offense and really has a lot of potential to really test you. And they've done a good job here so far. So at the end of the third quarter, Averett with a 54-40 lead. And with that, we are going to take a break. You're watching Averett Sports Network. And we are back here at the Grant Center. Start of the fourth quarter. The Cougars with their largest lead of the game here so far at 54-40. And Cougars hoping to hold on here in the fourth, pick up a very important conference win against the Panthers. And foul going there against Brooke Lewis, her third personal. And Chandler going to the line for the second shot, and she hits it. And the Cougars now out to a 15-point advantage here at 55-40. So the Cougars able to score 62 against the Panthers up there, and they are well on to that mark today. And Myers just puts a little bit too much gas on it to Lundquist, and will be a Averett turnover, and Ferrum with the ball back. So Mounts trying to set things up here. And number 23, Jasmine Barr. Barr will kick it out to Lewis. And it's going to be a foul on the Cougars. Foul goes against number 23, Frida Lundquist. Her first personal. And Lewis with the shot. It is good. And Ferrum switching. Maddox back into midcourt. Trying to stop Averett's transition. And Myers going to call it for a travel right there. And the ball will go to Ferrum. So turnovers have been a little bit of an issue here today for the Cougars. And that's going to be a block by Maddox, and that's Maddox's fifth. So she now has to come out, and the ball will go to the Cougars. And it's going to be number 32, Aaron March, coming into the game. And Frida Lundquist gets the ball in to Myers. Myers kicks it out to Deese. Deese on the drive, kicks it out to Chandler on the wing. Chandler coming down with the drive. She gets the hoop and the basket. And so now Chandler with a chance to convert a three-point play here to put the Cougars up by 14 with 9:04 left here at the Grant Center. Averett, a very impressive game here today, and Chandler completes the three-point play. It's definitely been one of the best shooting performances that we have seen all season from the Cougars, as they are shooting 50% from the field right now and have limited the Panthers to 35.6%. And that's been the difference in this one. And you have to give it to Averett's defense. Ferrum, a very, very effective offense, very dangerous offensive presence. And Hickey and assistant coach Morgan Crawford and Abby Bailey, their plan has worked here to perfection today to contain the Panthers. And Averett, still a lot of time left to play in this one, but if they can hold on here, they will pick up their first conference win of the season. So Ferrum, though, has done a great job of grabbing rebounds here. They have 29 altogether, including 14 on the offensive end. So they have been doing a good job at trying to get in there and get points off of their missed opportunities. Chandler pulls up a huge jumper right there and is now 60-44. Averett out to their biggest lead here at 16. And I think the Cougars have come in here tonight and just caught Ferrum by surprise, as Ferrum has just looked, they have not looked as sharp as they normally do. Ferrum usually a very dominant force on the women's side in this conference, and have just, I think they've just been a little shell-shocked tonight here by Averett, and it has allowed Averett to come out here and take advantage. So number 22, Krista Cox, into the game for number 32 for Aaron March. March fouled out. Second Ferrum player to foul out tonight, and Crawford being the other one. And I tell you, they will miss her on that one. And Deese comes down with another huge jumper, and it is now 18-point Averett lead. And Averett has really come out with a fire under their belts today, and have just really done a great job of containing this very effective Ferrum offense. And that's going to be a Ferrum timeout. And we're going to take it with them. You're watching Averett Sports Network. And we are back here at the Grant Center. 7:06 remaining in this contest. 62-46 Averett. And the Cougars are close to picking up their first victory. And Deese coming down with the jumper. Deese able to get her own rebound. Finds Lundquist. And that's going to be a foul on number 22, Krista Cox. That is her second of the game. And Lundquist goes to the line for two. First one, no good. And we've been talking about in the postgame or the pregame and the halftime show, Deese just a very big presence on this team off the bench. Of course, she's getting the start today. And Mounts with a long three there, in and out, but really just a big presence, a lot of energy on this team. And we saw her just a second ago at the line, giving Lundquist a little congratulations and shake it off. And Joelle Deese gets it out to Lundquist. Lundquist over to Washington. Washington and ball looks like it's going to stay with Averett. It will. So Chandler back into the game. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Myers gets it out to Chandler. Chandler drives. And a little in and out action there. And Mounts is able to come down with the rebound. And number 34, Crawford. And excuse me, it was not Crawford that fouled out earlier. It was actually Sarkia Maddox for Ferrum.
13, 12, 10, 23, and 52.
And Ferrum back in on the inbound. And 21 dishes out to number 22. Lewis out to Cox. Cox. And finds inside to Crawford. And Crawford, a nice little move there. Her back to the basket there. Crawford gets it in, and that is now a 16-point Averett advantage at 64-48. Got just a little over 5 minutes remaining, and number 22, Krista Cox, drills a huge triple right there, and it's now 64-51. So Ferrum not out of this one by any means, and doing a great job of hanging around in this one and not letting Averett finish them off. And we will see if that will continue or if Averett will be able to pull away and really be able to put this one out of reach. So taking a look while they are on timeout, taking a look at some of your stats here so far. In points right now, it's number 24, Maddox, and Crawford each sharing the tie for team high in points with 9 for Ferrum. So those are 2 key players right there that Averett has been able to keep under double digits in this one. For the Cougars, Chandler leads with 20, Myerson with 12, and Decent Jones both with 10. So Averett has done a good job of spreading the ball out, spreading the wealth, and making sure that everybody gets involved in the scoring. And that has definitely been one of the factors that has helped them establish this 13-point lead late in the game. So Myers gets it over to Chandler. Chandler gets it over to Lundquist. Lundquist puts it up. And the call is going to be push. And we'll send Deese to the line for 2 shots. So the foul on Crawford, her 3rd personal. So Deese. And it's good. Ferrum on the inbound. And Mount's getting it over there. Mount's over to number 22, Cox. Cox with the long 3. And it's going to be a foul on D'Aquila Washington there. And that's Washington's 4th personal. And it's now Averett ball. And so Averett commits the turnover there. We'll give it back to the Panthers. And Ferrum on the inbound here. Get it out to number 23, Kelly Mounts. Mounts over to 21, Lewis. Lewis, nice little chest pass there to number 22, Cox. And gets it in Crawford. And Crawford does a little bit of an elbow right there. No call, and she's able to make the basket. And it's going to be jump ball, and possession is going to stay with Ferrum. And Chandler comes into the game for D'Aquila Washington. And Mounts out. She finds number 22, Krista Cox. Cox has hit a couple of big threes so far here this half to help keep the Panthers within it. And Crawford. And it's going to be a foul on Chandler. It's Chandler's 3rd. Or excuse me, Chandler's 4th. And Crawford will hit the first one. And Jones in for Chandler. And so Crawford back to the line for her second shot. And we'll get it. 65-55 Averett. And Ferrum now starting to press, but unable to keep up with Myers. Myers finds Jones. And the press coming back to bite the Panthers right there a little bit as they were unable to contain the speedy Jessica Myers. And Jones coming in with the strip of Crawford. And Myers will pick it up. And Myers gets it out to Lundquist. Lundquist driving, unable to find it. Jones there for the rebound. Jones puts it back up. Basket and the foul. And fouls on number 34, Kamani Crawford. And that is her fourth one of the game. And Jones to the line for one shot, and she will pull down the three-point play. And number 23. So Anika Jones now with a career-high 17 points for the Cougars. And Chandler unable to find it. And so Anika Jones, a great performance here so far today as she has 17 points and 7 rebounds. So just a trio of rebounds from a double-double. And she's also 5 away from her career high in rebounds as well. And Chandler, a nice little behind-the-back dribble there. And the foul is going to be called on number 23, Jasmine Barr. And that is Barr's fourth foul of the evening. And Chandler puts it up, and it's in and good. So Chandler back to the line again, 71-55 Averett, 2:54 remaining in this one. And Chandler gets up here, and it is now 72-55, 2:53 remaining in the ball game. And number 22, Krista Cox puts up a three. Anika Jones comes down, her 8th rebound of the game. So Jones now just 2 boards shy of a double-double. And Chandler with the pass, and a little bit too much on it, and it bounces off the rim. And Crawford getting in there for the bucket. And it's going to be a full timeout on the court. We are going to take it with them. Averett leads 72-57. You're listening to Averett Sports Network. We're back here at the Grant Center. And just a little side note here, as we mentioned earlier, Anika Jones has matched her career high in points, and she is also perfect on the afternoon. She is 8 for 8 from the floor and 1 for 1 from the free throw line. So big night for her. And Jessica Myers going to the line for 2. First shot does not fall. And Daquilla Washington into the game for Haley Chandler. And Jessica Meyer back to the line for her second shot. And does not fall, and Crawford able to come down with the rebound. So Mounts gets it over to number 22, Krista Cox. Will not fall. There's a scuffle. And the ball will go to Ferrum. And the Panthers on the inbound. 2 minutes remaining in this one. 72-57. Averett leads over the Panthers of Ferrum College. And Crawford's jumper does not fall. And Frida Lundquist comes up with the steal for the Cougars. Finds Daquilla Washington. And Washington's going to kick it out to Myers. So Myers over to Lundquist. Lundquist drives. No good. Number 21, Brooke Lewis, down with the rebound. So minute 19 remaining in this one. So it appears that Averett is on its way to its first conference win. And Crawford makes it a 13-point game. Ooh. And number 23, Jasmine Barr, comes in there pretty tough and clips Myers. And we'll see if she is able to continue. So as we mentioned earlier, Onika Jones, a career high in points for her. Perfect shooting, 9 for 9 so far on this contest. And it appears that Myers is okay and is being helped off the court. And Chandler goes to the line for 2 shots. And Chandler gets the first one. And she puts up the second one, and it is good. 74-59. 55 seconds remaining. Cougars, a very impressive performance so far throughout this one. And look like they are going to hang on for their first conference victory. And there's going to be a foul on Daquilla Washington. And that is her 5th foul on the evening. So Chandler coming into the game for Washington. And number 33, Lindsey Martin, at the line. So Martin puts it up, and it's good. Ferrum will have a sub after this next shot from Martin. And that one is in and out. Jones coming down with the rebound. So Jones now with 9 rebounds. 1 away from a double-double. Number 30, Maggie Self, back into the game for the Panthers. And just under 40 seconds remaining in this one. Averett holding on to a 74-60 lead. And Self coming down with the steal. Number 22, Krista Cox. And Crawford does a great job of getting up there, and she will come down hard. But looks like she will be okay. And Sam Chandler will be whistled for the foul, her 4th. And Crawford will shoot 2. First one no good. And Crawford back to the line here. Crawford averaging 13.6 points, 8.5 rebounds per game this year. And she will not be able to make it, but it would be a foul on Onika Jones. And that will be her 5th. And Onika Jones just an incredible game tonight as she has set a career high in points and is a perfect 9 for 9 shooting. And so Self will hit the free throw. And that one's in and out, and it's going to be Chandler coming down with, Lundquist coming down with the rebound. And let's see if Averett just holds the ball here. The shot clock is off. 12 seconds now on the clock. And the Cougars have rebounded from a tough conference loss against Greensboro College with a 74-61 victory over Ferrum College. So with the victory, Averett goes to 6-5 on the season, 1-2 in the USA South. Ferrum falls to 5-9, 3-2 in the USA South, and Averett just coming out with a dominant performance here. Game was close in the first quarter, but Averett just used great defensive pressure and effective shooting from the floor to pull out the victory here today. We're going to take a look at some of the leaders here. Sam Chandler led all scorers with 20 points on the game. Nika Jones, her career high of 17 points, including an 8 for 8 performance from the field, and then she also was 1 from 1 for the line, so did not miss a shot the whole entire game. Joelle Deese has finished with 12 points, and Jessica Myers also with 12 as well. So for the Panthers, Kamani Crawford leads the team with 17. Meanwhile, number 24, Zarkia Maddox, finishes with 9. And number 11, Kelly Mounts, finishes with 7. So we'll take a look at your leaders in rebounding. Onika Jones for the Cougars finishes with 8 altogether on the evening. Frida Lundquist comes down with 7. Chandler with 6. Jessica Myers with 4. So for Ferrum, Kamani Crawford will finish with 8. Number 21, Brooke Lewis, finishes with 4. Number 32, Aaron Mark, finishes with 3. And number 11, Kelly Mounts, finishes with 3 as well. So some other important stats here to look at. Averett finishes 46.3 shooting from the field, limiting the Panthers to 35.7 from the field. Averett also 4 for 11 from beyond the arc, while keeping the Panthers at bay with a 3 for 19 shooting performance. And so really just really a great performance. Averett actually comes out in the second half, out-rebounds the Panthers to gain the edge 35-34, and including 22-18 edge on the defensive end of things. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a break here from the Grant Center, but when we come back, we will wrap up the post-game show here at the Grant Center. Once again, your Averett Cougars, a 74-61 winner over Ferrum College. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back here at the Grant Center, wrapping up the postgame show. Once again, the Averett University Cougars, a 74-61 winner over the Panthers of Ferrum College. And I'm joined here by Sports Information Director Drew Wilson. And Drew, just looking at this one right here, had talked about earlier before we went to the break, Onika Jones finishing 9 for 9 from both the field, or went 8 for 8 for the line, 1 for from the field, 1 for 1 from the line for a career high 17 points. How crucial was that?
That was huge against the Ferrum team that's known for its size inside most years, and able to do that, she was able to get a lot of putbacks, had 9 rebounds in addition to the 17 points, also 2 blocks early on, and just an overall solid performance from her. You need those types of games, especially from a senior like her, to step up in a big game, and she was able to do that today and really help propel the Cougars past the Panthers.
And she did a great job under the boards. 1 away from a double-double, 9 total rebounds, and just to be able to do that with Ferrum's size, just very impressive performance from her all around today. Another great performance, as usual, from Sam Chandler, finishing with 22 points and 6 rebounds. But one of the big things that I see right here besides Jones' performance is Joelle Deese coming in with 12 points in her first start this season, and really coming down with the 3 rebounds as well.
Yeah, she had a solid game, and Jessica Myers obviously solid first half, had 12 points all in the first half, and Jessica also tied and matched her career high with 6 assists today to go along with 3 steals before having to sit out the last couple minutes of the game due to injury. I thought they all did a good job. Sam Chandler, most of her damage was done at the free throw line, 12 of her 22 points at the line, and you need all those parts to play well, and they sure came through today. Ariana Covington, only 3 points. She was in foul trouble for a lot of the games, so it kind of took her out of her rhythm. And, with Onika Jones stepping up and Joelle Deese obviously getting the start instead of coming off the bench, the Cougars didn't really need a lot of bench points. In fact, they only got 8 points off the bench today. Luckily, the starters were able to come through and really kind of produce. Shot 45.5% from the field today. And I think the biggest, aside from the things that Averett did, I think the biggest things that helped them propel to a win was the things they did on defense to stop Ferrum. They held Ferrum to only 36% from the field, only 3 for 21 from beyond the arc. And, while Kamani Crawford got some late baskets to get her up to 21 points, they really did a good job limiting her early, and then she got her points late because there was nobody else really. Because Zarkia Maddox only with 9 points today before fouling out. She just struggled with foul trouble for most of the day. In fact, 3 Ferrum Panthers fouled out today. Of course, two Averett players also fouled out today. So a lot of fouls going on today.
Chippy game.
Yeah, not really chippy, just a lot of contact and fouls were called. But overall, just a good conference win for the Cougars to pick one up, and it's also kind of a they avenged that loss earlier this season at Ferrum.
Well, and they really came out a completely different team today. Averett knew what they had to do, and they came out here and did it. And like you said, just on the defensive end of the board or defensive end of the court, 36.1% from the field throughout the whole entire game, and really only 3 3-pointers the whole entire contest. And I believe that when we went up there a couple of weeks ago, Ferrum had 3 3-pointers in the first 4 minutes of the game. So, just a great defensive effort here by the Cougars. Forced a total of 24 turnovers by the Panthers, and just a really well-earned win today by the Cougars.
Yeah, a lot of unforced errors by Ferrum kind of hurt themselves with 5-second calls, backcourt violation. You had an inbound violation where players stepped over the line. Things just didn't go right for the Panthers, and luckily for the Cougars, they were able to take advantage of that.
They really were. And Drew, I don't know about you, but I think my player of the game nod is definitely going to go to Onika Jones with 17 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 blocks. I think she was the big factor in this one today.
Absolutely. I think you have to go with her. She just had one of those career games, and she's certainly been capable of it, and got the 17 points, which 2 more than her previous career high, which was at Guilford back in November of 2013. And I think she just had an excellent game, and I'm happy for her to achieve that milestone, in her senior season.
I think it's key, and they're a great team, and they come out and they give it their best effort every day, and on the court and off the court, and I'm just glad to see them get this first conference win. So,
absolutely.
Well, that's going to do it for us here tonight at the Grant Center. Once again, your Averett University Cougars pulling out a 74-61 victory over the Panthers of Ferrum College.
And just a reminder, you can find the full stats from today's game on AverettCougars.com. Also, be sure to follow us on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all those. Obviously, you know about our YouTube because you're watching us on YouTube. But it's been a pleasure joining you here on the postgame and halftime and pregame show, Davin, and we'll have more coverage of Averett basketball. This time it'll be the men's team, which has a William Peace here at home on Wednesday. So be sure to tune in for that.
All right, and fans, once again, final score here, Averett 74-61. We appreciate you joining us here on Averett Sports Network.
This has been a production of the Averett Sports Network.